One of my favorite passages in all the Bible is one of the most obscure, odd passages, but it comes from Numbers. And let me give you the backstory before he goes through it on the screen. In Israel, you had these wanderers that were going to effectively die in the wilderness because they didn't trust God in their younger years. And so they didn't trust God. They believed the 8 false stories from the spies, and they didn't believe the 2 truthful stories of the spies. And so God gives them the discipline, and he says, look, you're all over 20. You're all going to die in the wilderness. And you under 20, you're going to go into the promised land. That's how it's going to go down. And so in the midst of the wilderness, they have other problems. And at one point, these sons of Korah stands up against Moses and Aaron and turns their back on them and says, no, we're going a new way. We're not following these guys anymore. Who's going to be with us? And several people stand with them, and they're killed off by the Lord. It's an incredible event in the Old Testament wilderness wanderings. But you get to the place where they're about to enter the promised land. And you've got these girls. Just like Lot had his girls, you have another guy in the Old Testament that had girls. And these girls come to Moses. And they say to Moses, Malachi, if you take it to us on the screen, Numbers 27:3. They say to Moses this, our father died in the wilderness. He was not among the company of those who gathered themselves together against the Lord in the company of Korah, but died for his own sin, and he had no sons. Now, here's the situation. Every man has an inheritance in the promised land. Every man gets his allotment. They're coming to Moses and they're saying, hey, our father, he's dead. He didn't have any sons, and we're about to go without an allotment. So we'd like an allotment of land as his daughters, because he had no sons to claim it. But here's what we want you to know about our dad. He wronged you, and he stood against Joshua and Caleb. And as a result of that, he died. But we also want you to know this. He didn't stand with Korah. He didn't stand in the second rebellion. He stood in the first, and he's paid for that now. But he didn't stand in the second. And so the question is, you got all these people who are dying in the wilderness, and the question is, did they all go to hell? Did all those people go to hell? And my answer is absolutely not. Not all of them. I'm sure some did, but not all of them. And he's one of them, because here's what he did. He said, girls, your daddy messed up big time. And I'm going to die in the wilderness because of it. I'm not going to see the promised land. I'm not going to see my inheritance. But I'll tell you this. I didn't stand with those scoundrels of Korah. I didn't do that. I went this far, but I didn't go that far. And I'm stopping. I'm turning around, and I won't walk that way anymore. And please remember that about your dad, that I'm not all that guy who I used to be. And the text says that Moses said, I have to take this to the Lord. And he takes it to the Lord, and the Lord responds, they're right. You give them their land. Praise God for righteous endings.